Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm Ep.128.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're gonna fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
Embrace the madness.
The views and opinions expressed on Geekfather are those of the panelists and not those of the Geeks Under the Influence Network, their affiliates, or sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. This is for the parents and not for the kiddies.
Geekfire!
Can you try one more time? Say Geekfather real loud.
Geekfire way out!
And welcome back, guys. That's right. If you're hearing the jingle bells and the Batman smells, those rotten eggs and everything over here.
There's a whole lot of that.
A whole lot of that because it's the holiday time, and that means the Geekfathers are here in full effect. And apparently I'm making my own effects, but that was off camera, so if it didn't, or off microphone, I should say, so it didn't happen, but we can talk about it if you really want.
Right now, instead of holiday, it's just okay, but my ass can barely breathe. I'm trying.
I'm just, like I said, it sounded just as good as Pip farting on a snare drum.
It's all that fucking eggnog.
I know, man. All the eggnog, all the holiday cheer, if you will.
You jolly son of a bitch.
Well, yes.
It's good to see you, buddy.
You too, brother. It's unfortunately, or I should say, fortunately, if you're hearing this, you're knowing that we're having to catch up. Last episode, man. Well, let's just say the past couple weeks have had the roller coaster of just we're approaching the end of the year, and we just are gonna go out in style, apparently.
Oh, we should probably just give them a recap. A recap so they can know what we did to come into this episode. And give it what we got. Now, what happened to you last week?
Well,
or excuse me, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, basically, I physically overdid it, which you would think, well, if you see me, you could understand. But I actually did it to. It took you a second on that one. I'll let that slide.
Well, I don't have my heart's not that mean, so I was like, oh no.
Well, fat jolly soul over here, but. I do my exercises, I work out, and that's really what leads right into it. Like, I just overdid it, man. Yeah. Like, I'm an old man, first off. Like, I'm in my mid-40s, but I tend to take care of myself while still, I try to party a little bit.
Right.
But it was straight up exhaustion, man.
No sleep, plus overworking the weights, and just body went, fuck
of all days
you.
to be like, I think I'm going to bump up my weights a little bit and do, like, these extra squats and everything, and then spend the next 12 hours down in Norfolk seeing bands and drinking some beers and not get home until like 2 a.m. And
if you know that's going to happen, don't do anything. Just rest in a fucking tub of ice.
I should have.
Stand on your feet all day.
But I'm trying to keep that momentum going because it felt good. But then it was more so of that day of just like, I'm going to do a little extra because I have extra time and blah, blah, blah. And
the older we get, the more you sacrifice to have those times.
That's true. Because it became like an effect that lasted about 3 days based on everything. Fortunately, I had already taken some extra time off work and everything, but in partial, I will say, to scheduling, it ruined our episode, which happens. Mm-hmm. We know that. I'm not mad.
Yeah,
you're not mad.
No, well.
Hopefully the listeners are not mad. They would have let us know by now, I would think.
Yeah, but I would hope so.
Absolutely.
But, that's life. That's what happens,
Oh,
that's life.
Hey.
But it does. It slaps you in the face sometimes. Sometimes it comes in 2s and 3s. And, we could have recorded last week. But, on Monday, as you know, my dog passed away. And, she was, Aurora's our sweet little beagle. And, she was a great dog. She was only 9. She was mixed.
Absolutely.
So she should have had a longer life, but that wasn't going to be the deal. So
right,
it was crazy because now check this out. I called, so basically needed to get Lorelai to get her here, get my kid here, so she could see and say goodbye because we knew what was coming.
Yeah,
and her mom got her here from school in just enough time that we
Oh.
got to have,
Okay.
enough time that she got to have like a couple of hours of just being on the couch
A
here
moment.
at home. Yes.
A moment. That's exactly.
Not to just come in and go,
Right.
And I felt very lucky for that. I felt, I don't use the word blessed, but I felt lucky for that she got that time.
It was for a bad situation. It was a very fortunate scenario.
It was
that
the best.
happened.
It was the best outcome
Yeah.
you could hope for. In
Exactly.
That scenario,
Yeah.
yes. So she, we got time, and then we went to the, we went to the vet, and then me and the girls, we spent as much time with her as we could, and then I kicked them out of the room. I said, you guys, you need to leave, go. And I said my goodbyes, and she gave me as I stuck her, she gave me like a little lick on the nose. Right as she was going, just to let me know. The audience know I'm like tearing up, but just to let us know that it's cool.
Yeah.
So, we say goodbye.
Most dogs do that.
Yeah.
They do. Like I've been in both those situations where we've had to plan it.
Yeah.
Like kind of like this one, and other times where you don't get a choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, the dogs are good about letting you know, which is
she did. I mean, I worked from home, so she was with me, and and I could tell what was coming down the pike, and made it happen quick, and say bye. So it's been a rough, it's been a rough week. There was a lot of no sleeping, and everybody was just kind of rattled, and girls were rattled with it. So, but we just got her back today. So we got her ashes. She's next to my mom.
yes.
Who went a few months ago. So it's been a hard year. But I love doing this, and I love spending time with the family and my friends because it helps.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's what happened last week. So that's why we didn't record.
Exactly.
So
and
that's life.
That's life. Yeah, because guys, honestly, if you had go back and listen to some of the shows, this is not the first time where we've talked about where pets are family.
Mm-hmm.
Where
you lost 2 this year. I
lost 2 within like 2 months.
2 months. I mean, Jesus. I mean, fuck, man.
And one of them we had to plan. Like it was like I had to make the phone call Monday to set the appointment for Saturday. Yeah.
If life had a junk, I'd kick it in it.
Right.
And run as fucking fast away, run away as fast as I can.
Yeah,
because I'm about to get bitched.
Because life and karma do go hand in hand. But yeah, if there was ever a chance of a physical form of life every so often, and you can just walk up and like kick it in the crotch just that one good time, and then run like a bat out of hell, fuck yes, I would do that as well. That is. Yeah, so that's
and you know what, here's to everyone, whether they lost somebody or lost their pet, and hopefully that their pet is in that beautiful endless pocket dimension of just beautiful weather and sky and just running and sniffing and and just all the things that dogs
all the treats.
Yeah.
All the treats and
that's all of them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll get to bridge over there one day, we get like the papers all right.
Hopefully it connects. Yeah.
Your request was approved,
Right. I mean, we got to get approval from what did they line up all of our pets just for approval? Just to make sure. I don't know, man. That motherfucker kicked me out of the kitchen one time, and come on, man.
Yeah, that one shit in my shoes.
Yeah. No, actually, I was talking about that's what the animals say about us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You didn't give me that table scrap that one time.
That's right.
Where those pizza bones when I wanted them?
Yeah, 2 shit in my bed. Oh, wait, that's...
Yeah. Well, that depends after...
That's a real fucked human.
Yeah, that's...
I'm still speaking from the dog.
I was about to say, I hope you're still speaking from the dog one because... I mean, we can talk about train spotting if you want.
Oh, Jesus Christ, no. That is not a Geekfather moment anyone should ever have.
No, absolutely not. No. I agree.
That's not a movie you fucking bond with people over.
But unfortunately,
maybe it is.
When it comes to a human shitting in a bed, I'd rather talk about a movie than like...
Amber Heard?
Yeah,
right. Oh, we're not gonna go there.
Change the subject. I'm not even going to try to segue out of this one. We're just going to change the fucking subject from shitting on the bed to...
And I meant the dog shitting on the bed, of course.
But one day we will be with our pets again. That is the plan.
That's the hope.
Right. And and even to sound cheesy with it, we do, of course, whether you celebrate Christmas, we have all sorts of the Kwanzaa. I was really, again, I've been thrown for such a loop. I meant to actually double check dates for when Hanukkah is and all,
Happy Kwanzaa, Christmas.
Yeah, with all that stuff. So just, again, we include everybody. So I will say a Merry Christmas because I know that's what Smash and I do.
Yeah.
But of course, happy holidays to everybody else as we approach the end of the year, which we were discussing before, which this one technically could have been an end of year, but I think we can squeeze one more in.
Yeah, we probably could.
Yeah. Now, if we were back in the day when we were doing weekly, I would probably say we're taking the rest of the year off. But
right, yeah,
we've got some time, and I think some, because by the time we do the next episode, it'll be a little bit of quality time with the family will happen. Mm-hmm. So we'll.
Oh, I can't wait! I'm all ready. Man, presents are packed. Jesus Christ, presents are wrapped.
Yes,
the stocking is packed. You know why I have to talk slower? Because my brain has been fried over like a week of no sleep. So now, and my old ass does not catch up as quickly. I'm like you. I'm like, I do not catch up as quickly.
3 days recoup time. Even when stuff where I didn't even have to really do anything, it was like, oh man.
I would love to hide behind, I've had a few beers, but I haven't drinking a fucking cup of coffee. And a light one, mind you. And I'm basically decaf.
Yeah, and I'm on my first one, so if anything happens with me, I'm
having a stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure see my left side goes a little like
to any of our listeners, if anyone out there hears us say, "Do you smell eggs?"
I thought it was burnt toast.
I think it can go either way.
Fair.
I think it can go either way. I've heard eggs.
I've heard burnt toast.
Burnt toast too. I've heard burnt toast too.
So guys, those catchphrases, they could be life-saving.
That's right.
Because, well, hopefully you guys at least have one of our numbers if that's the case. But, if not, 911 and I don't know where to send them.
No.
Because I don't even know the physical address off the top of my head.
You know what? You know where we're going to send everybody? We're going to send everybody to that lovely thing on your shirt, the Punks for Presents.
There you go. Because if you can't do a life-saving act, you can at least do an act that is great for the kids down at MCV.
That's right.
Which I believe is the main hospital where they do. I think they've done a couple hospitals before. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Punks for Presents. We're right in the middle of, as we're recording, we're right in the middle of the 2 big weekends that Punks for Presents really thrives. The first 2 nights happened. The wife and I were at most of the first night. We had to call. It started late, so we had to call a little bit early before the show ended. Great show as always. Saw some great people out. Of course, Chad from Wonderland, Derek from Golden Squeegee, and a bunch of others. I know those are the 2 main ones that usually head up most of the stuff. Great raffles, guys. The merch, the bands, everything is great. Plus, you're given to one of the best causes, which is to the kids that are stuck at the hospital for varying reasons. It could be terminal, it could be long term, but it's giving them something even for 5 minutes. And
unfortunately, the cure is in the money, and the money comes from the donors, and it's And what else is there to say? That's what we do does help, and what every little bit helps. Even you go to the grocery store, you go somewhere like Halloween, you go to Holiday Express, you want $2 at St. Jude's or whatever the case.
Exactly.
And you try to, and with this, it's no different except for you're really having a more direct impact from an individual standpoint and. Or the family that you bring into it. So.
Well, and the great thing for Punks for Presents is that some of the bragging rights that go with it. First off, great friends that I know that helped start the original Punks for Presents. They are a licensed or whatever it is for nonprofit. They do have all the legal means now, but this started as literally a group of people. Said, hey, we should do something decent. And we're talking about the people that are usually considered trash. all the punk rock kids, hardcore kids,
right?
All this stuff was like, hey, we do good stuff. Let's do this.
Well,
literally,
in case they haven't figured it out, especially in 2022, you cannot judge any book by its cover.
Well, that's true.
You just can't. It's been true in the past, but it's very true now. You just can't. You actually either get to know the person or move on.
Exactly.
But don't automatically think they're one way or another.
But it comes with, I know with me personally, knowing some of those people, what they were able to help achieve, and what it's grown into now. It's a citywide known thing. It's been caught on the news. It's a legal nonprofit. Things are good, and it's one of those, because unfortunately the swindlers are still out there. There are certain groups that you still like. I believe it's the Salvation Army. I refuse to give them one penny of my money or do anything involved with them because they're anti LGBTQ plus community.
Well, yeah, that's not very
right. So I have absolutely nothing to do with them. Punks for Presents includes everyone,
right?
And there are some other great ones out there, but if you really want to stick to a good local, do-it-yourself type of group, Punks for Presents it is. Even if you can't make any of the shows, which the next two shows, Friday. Let me look at my calendar here before the 16th, Richmond Music City Hall.
Okay.
And then Saturday the 17th is at Hardywood, the main location behind the Diamond.
Right.
That one starts a little bit early at 4:00, but honestly, go to Facebook, just look up Punks for Presents. Yeah. I don't even know.
Especially anyone who's been to Hardywood knows it's kid friendly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you really can't go anywhere in Richmond because there's other events throughout the year now too. You go through Richmond, you'll see something. You'll see a shirt, a sticker, something these days.
That's right.
And that's one of the biggest things I'm going to harp on is because giving to others, man. Those, especially the next generation, as being geek fathers here, that is one thing I will always stand behind is those kids who, everybody says you give more to your kids now because you want to give them more than what you had.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a little bit extra, man, to help out those other kids who are even like worse off than I can only imagine. To put it bluntly.
And I don't care what you stand for. Life matters. Mine, yours, everybody's life does matter. Individual lives matter. Obviously, kids' lives matter. The most because they are. They're supposed to
be the future.
They are the future. They're supposed to be. As long as we can get them there.
Yeah, that's the key.
That's our job. Is to get them there better off than what we had. And we're not doing a great job, but with things like this, there's steps in the right direction, and that's,
right. And I'll be sure to post links or at least a link, something for them, because even if you can't make the shows or do anything with like the raffles, buy the merch or anything like that, there are ways through Venmo, PayPal, and everything. You can just do a straight donation as well.
Yeah, and you'll see a link on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh yeah, and just remember that any donation you do is 100% to the group. Everybody who works on Punks for Presents totally does it on their own free time. No one makes a paycheck.
That's the thing is that and at least some of the people I know that are involved, from what I know of them, the only thing they get out of it, just like anyone who's involved in this, is just knowing that they did something decent.
Right.
That's it. End of story. Period. They did something decent. Not so you could sleep better at night but because you did it, because you could. And, you got to love that.
Right. And that's why the whole thing, the hashtag, whatever is always there. It's just do it for the kids.
Yeah.
That's all that this group is looking out for. So keep an eye out there. Like I said, I'll post a more solid link that have all the details. But keep it, look it up. As soon as you hear anything, there, like I said, there's the show this coming up Friday on the 16th. And then the show at Hardywood. And I missed we kind of glossed over a little bit. What these are shows. They're bands that play, but what they do, they're all cover bands. They pick a band and either just do it for fun, or they put holiday twist on how they do the cover band.
Yeah.
So that it's fun. It's something a little bit different.
Yeah, that's inventive.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was the whole thing. That's part of where it started, was trying to, like one of the original cover bands that some friends did was Slayer, but it was spelled Sleighger, like Slay. See, and so you just it started.
That's clever.
Yeah, and it's just started building from there. And I mean, you've got anywhere from just straight up rock and roll to punk rock to metal to all of it. You know,
that's cool,
it's so
I like
fun.
that. Clever girl.
Yeah, clever girl.
Clever girl.
Clever girl. But Punks for Presents, y'all be sure to do what you can. And if not, just be sure you also vet and double check any other charity you do participate with, just to make sure. Again, there's plenty of great ones out there, but if you really want to stick local, even regional, I'll say is the Punks for Presents is the way to go.
Absolutely.
So, but that's one of the main things. We're getting ready. We're a little late on the decorations personally at home.
Are you?
Yeah. The wife, but she works a seasonal job, which is nothing new. She's done it for a couple of years, but this year they have her running. So, and then just some other stuff we've had to take care of.
It's for you to get them.
Well, that's her department.
Oh, you're not allowed to do it?
I can help. But
At her. Yeah.
Right. She's boss.
Jem's usually like that, but Aurora kind of knocked everything for a loop, and so
sure.
So I was like, I've got the energy for you. So I went, no,
Absolutely.
actually, we had actually put most of them up before she had passed.
Okay.
I'm a big, I didn't used to be this way, but as my kid got older, I guess his eyes got older, especially now, this year being so different than years before.
Yeah.
I wanted to try to feel, sounds cheesy, but to feel Christmas as much as I could feel it for as long as I could feel it. So I've never been one to do it at the beginning of the year, most of the part, but this year I was like, or not beginning of the year, beginning of the month, but we just went, we started putting stuff up, and as the week go, I'll put stuff here. Even today, like the stockings I just threw up like last night.
There they are.
Yeah,
okay.
They're right behind. You see them behind the tree though. It's in a weird setup. But
sorry, I was only because of where I'm sitting. I was just noticing the mini tree.
Yeah.
So that's not even thinking about the bigger tree.
Yeah, we've got 2 trees. Yeah. I was never.
We have a minimum 2 trees as well. Come on now.
So funny because growing up, it was just
one.
You
had your one main tree, and that was.
And then you had that old ceramic. You always had one of those plug-in ceramic like looking or.
What I mean? It was definitely like your grandparents gave it to your parents for something, and you're just like, or it's only out there because in case Grandpa and Grandma roll by.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only reason.
It's just a tree. It's like your standard tree, but it's maybe painted green with a little bit of white tips on it.
Oh yeah,
but it had this, it had those big colored lights.
Yeah.
That
which I
were individually in there.
We had one for a little while, and I kind of miss them now. Where I'm just like, damn, I kind of wish I had that back.
Well, it's been crazy. I go through my mom's things, and especially recently. I was trying to find old Christmas decorations, and some of them got damaged in a flood a long time ago.
Oh wow!
In a basement. So I was looking. I knew we had that, but I guess that broke too. But I really wanted one of them. I really wanted. I mean, you could still get them, but I was hoping. No, I mean, I was hoping for my childhood one, but what can you do?
Fair enough. Yeah, and the kids are getting into it this year.
Yeah.
Logan and Leland definitely. So much so Jennifer had to tell them to stop because they were looking for. Well, Leland, I should say more so, was looking for his one special one that he loves because. We actually had to hide it last year. It's an X-Files ornament.
That's great.
You push the button and it plays the theme song. Guess who really likes the theme song to the X-Files and will push the button every chance he gets?
Which one?
Leland.
Oh, Leland?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I don't know. Kind of go...
Logan. Logan's beyond the repetitiveness of something like
I guess,
that.
Yeah, I guess so. He wouldn't get the same excitement.
He's repetitive on other bullshit.
Yeah.
But just pushing a button to hear a song, that's because Leland has the Michael Myers lights are still up, of course. I need to find some mini Santa Claus hats to put on the Michael Myers heads. That's his thing. He goes, pushes the button, and the Halloween theme goes. And unless you either turn it off or tell him enough, he'll just keep doing it and do his little Michael Myers walk.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the X-Files ornament is definitely his of just like, I can't think of the theme song off the top of my head.
It sounded like you were doing a little bit of old Star Trek there.
It could have been. I mean, it could.
Is that what you were about to do? Are you that old?
Maybe.
Yeah, you are that old.
Oh, of course, yeah. Star Trek, the original series, yes. I mean, I'm not old enough to see when it was first on TV, but to grow up with the reruns.
No, I watched that reruns on Nick at Night. And,
yeah.
What was it, Nick at Night?
Well, my go-to is when the Fox 35, when that channel first started, before it was affiliated with Fox News and blah, blah, blah. When it was just a local station, I remember that was the station to go to, especially when you didn't have cable.
Yes.
Because it was constant old reruns of old shows like Star Trek.
Especially
and then Saturday and Sunday was the old, like the super cheesy 80s movies of action, horror,
That's
whatever.
where you got them all. That's
exactly.
I mean, that's where you got to watch them. I remember watching it the first time I saw, and I've spoken on this before, is the Guyver. And I remember I was probably like 9.
Oh yeah, you love your Guyver movie.
9 or 10. And I was 10 when it came. Yeah, when I saw it on TV.
Yeah.
And that's all you had, like cable. Even cable at that time was not like you didn't have a million channels.
Yeah,
yeah.
Cable was simple. I mean,
yeah.
You had a few extra channels, but the cable that you wanted was the premium channels back then, like the original HBO, the Cinemax, the Showtime.
Those were a lot extra. Those were definitely. Yeah. I mean, compared to now, not as, doesn't seem like as much.
The whole streaming game and everything.
But if you didn't have that, that's where you got most of your movies. That's where I got, kids today, our kids will never know. I know it's cliche now, like we'll never know the struggle, but the struggle's real.
Well, we've talked about that multiple times on multiple things.
Wait all day for all the news shit to be done at 11, even at like on weekends and at midnight. When all the cool shit would come on, that's
or
where
how
you
about
get
when they had the guide channel? Those days where you watched the guide channel more than you actually watched TV.
Yeah,
because you were either trying to find something to watch, or you had to find out when that movie was going to be on in another 2 to 3 hours, and or
you just couldn't concentrate, and every time it scrolled, you like looked away or sneezed, and you fucking missed it, and then you had to wait.
The days where if you had to pee, you better hope for that commercial break, or you missed it.
And it's so much easier. They can literally download content but then you had to wait, and then you watched and you absorbed it, and you dealt with the commercials. And you just did. And it just became a part of it. That's what it was.
My kids have it so easy that they don't even pause shit. They just go do whatever and come back because they know they'll watch it again.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can download video games now that you are so big, like would have destroyed, like they wouldn't even fit into any old system in terms of data.
Way.
Like,
no way.
They download it now.
Yeah.
You download it like my brother just got a PS5 for him and his son. All right. So.
Oh, boy.
They were just playing, either downloading or playing PS4 games on it, but they were just downloading them and playing them like it was nothing. I was like, you don't even need the fucking discs anymore.
Yeah.
You don't need the discs. Like, that's where you are. It's that easy for you. And we had to, like, deal with some shit.
Yeah.
If the cartridge didn't work, and or it did work for a short period of time and fuck up on you, but you couldn't save your game.
Or if you were one of those that got really into the games and you're like, oh, there's a Japanese version that has this or blah, blah, and you were on the search for that.
Yeah. I did that with the first Resident Evil.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Yeah. The original one, released overseas in Japan, was definitely like, it wasn't terribly different, but it was different. It was definitely things that they would allow content-wise, I think, changed.
I gotcha. Yeah.
But I remember that was an amazing time. And when you got that stuff, or you could like sit down and play it, you did play. It was just, it's all you had.
Well, usually you got that one day on the weekend where you got maybe a few hours, depending on what was going on, where you could just do straight, or I remember it was even like for me, it was even in junior high where I'd stay over at the time, he was my best friend. We'd stay up half the night playing something on Super Nintendo or whatever it was but we had to keep going because it wasn't just a save a game and turn it back on in the morning.
Yeah.
It was, no, you stop playing, you lose everything.
So you either leave your system on and pause and go to sleep that way, which is what you...
And it ruined most systems.
Fuck yeah.
It burned those up so quickly.
Yeah. But I mean, if it was a game, like, listen, I remember the excitement that it was supposed to snow, and so I decided, like, I was going to jump in and start playing Maximum Carnage on Sega, which is a fucking hard game. Right. It's easy for
I remember that one.
But like Doppelganger and Carnage themselves are paying a fucking ass. It's like it's a
Yeah.
hard game to get through. Daredevil's in it, Black Cat, like it's just it's a great game.
The Marvel Knights, I think, is a good way to put that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great game. But I remember like just the idea that it would snow tomorrow was like the greatest thing ever. And I have this game. I get in there. Next thing I know, it is 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd waited till my mom went to bed, obviously.
Of course.
And then I turned the volume down because I didn't want to get caught.
Yeah. Back then you didn't need a whole lot of sound either.
You didn't know. And you didn't have a lot of sound.
Well, yeah,
like, it's not like TV had.
Like surround sound or anything.
Yeah, there was no
way.
sound bars at that time.
No.
Like, we didn't have... So I had to wait. She goes to bed, and then I played it. And next thing I know, it's 6 o'clock in the fucking morning. I look outside, and it's like, it's snowing.
Yeah.
And I had, and it was covered everything, and I was like, I know school's closed today. And of course, I ran downstairs. It was like, I turned on the news, and then I just waited.
Back when we had to watch the news, just to know if
when
school
you had
closed.
to, and then you had to wait.
Again, you had to wait for it to cycle
all the way through.
If you missed it, you're screwed, and you had to sit there even longer.
So they don't understand effort. Then really want something is to really wait or have patience for it and go get it.
It's the patience.
Well, right, but patience, effort wise, if you know you can get something quickly, what effort do you need to put into it?
It's even...
And why have patience?
You want to know the catchphrase in my house? It's
what?
not even putting the effort, or even the patience. It's, you can watch TV because we have certain limitations on game times and things, usually during the week, on like school nights, certain things like that. But most of the time it's like, hey, you can watch your show, do this or do that or whatever. Mm-hmm. The catchphrase that I hear constantly, I'm bored.
I'm gonna tell you fucking now. That'll be on my gravestone where he says he died of heart attack trying to kill his child for saying I'm bored for the millionth time.
To pull a Homer Simpson.
It's going to be a really expensive headstone.
It is, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, when I sit there and go, oh, you're bored, what about all the books? You have access to board games, to these games, to this.
Other things.
But that's not... No, I know what you're fishing for.
Yeah.
You're not getting that.
You know what a board game means? It means they got to take it out. They got to set it up. Then they play it, but then they've got to put up and clean it. Maybe they don't have a problem with that, but I'm going to tell you, it itches at them.
There are those times, though, that's all they want to do. It's like, they're like, hey, we want to play this. And my wife and I are like, cool, we can sit down and play like maybe a round. And most of the time it doesn't take, But unfortunately,
how long does that stick within while you're playing, though? Before they want to switch to the games?
Actually, there are times where it doesn't.
Is that because, do you have rules?
Yeah, to play the board games?
No, the board games do have rules.
Oh, I was about to...
I was saying,
some people are just like, oh, just do whatever you want with
I'll clarify, in terms of games, you have specific rules as far as screen time, right? Like, what are you... So you're...
Give or take,
You know what? We're going to get into that. That might be a perfect segue into comparing...
Comparing, actually, yes.
Shit going on with the video games.
We are getting close to the end here, and that is something we mentioned on... for comparing this episode, is we both... really have something about the games. Now, to wrap that part up, there are some time limits, or what I try to do is, again, because of the advantage they have with the games these days, is to break it up in time segments.
Yeah. Play
for 20, 30 minutes, take a break, walk away, get a snack, go do something else, and then we'll figure out when your next block is.
All right. Well, hold on to that. I'm gonna go through this article real quick, and I'm gonna throw at you what it says.
Go for it.
Okay, and then you let me know, and I'll let you know my style. I think we pretty much have similar style.
Oh yeah.
I'll try to go through this article as fast as I can. So the vast majority of children and adolescents in the United States play video games, although many children play them in moderation. Bullshit. Without adverse consequences. Others become obsessed with gaming. Now this is from the childmindinstitute.org. Which I'm not throwing any validity at. This was an article that jacked up to me. I know. So, this was an article that I read, and I found and it wasn't necessarily that it's wrong or right. It's just one of those seems very simple. We'll just do that.
That's who they surveyed that week.
Right. So others become obsessed with gaming. Parents may become worried when their child is neglecting homework to play games, staying up all night gaming, and is too tired to get up for school the next day. And some parents notice their child rarely socializes in person with others spends all their free time on video games. Some children start to cover up how much they are playing. Now, they have certain rules or enforcing certain things to make sure this doesn't happen. Now, before we get started, I do want to say,
Okay.
we did that with the systems we had that were older. We literally just talked about how we'd
Right.
be up all night. It's not, people can get obsessed with a lot of different things. I used to be obsessed
Absolutely.
with certain movies. I might watch the same movie like 20 fucking times in a week.
But
Every night before I went to
VHS
bed.
days where you could play it and hit rewind
Yes.
and just play it again. Yeah.
And especially then DVDs came into play and it would
You could
just
just put them on
replay
repeat?
itself over and over.
Oh, the repeat function was awesome.
I
on
did that with
DVDs.
Die Hard
Yes.
and the original Ghostbusters and
Which is a Christmas movie.
yes, it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, well, I know we agree on that.
Oh,
but-
we 100%
Yeah,
agree
yes,
on that.
Yes.
Yeah. Fuck you. Anyone else's different thought on that. Yeah.
Because you can't see us, we're shaking our fist at you.
Right.
So, yes.
So this is where, like the evolution of things come into play. I don't necessarily disagree or agree, but because it's gonna come based on, the kid or and how they are. How obsessed are they? Like, I know that Fortnite was a huge problem for a long time, especially from a media standpoint, in terms of the kids playing, Predators, that sort of thing. That can happen with anything.
Well, with everything
Nowadays.
I mean, you're talking about anything. Everything is online to some degree. So that there's always something. Yes.
So once you take care of those online protections, now it just boils down to how much the kid plays, right? Okay.
Sure.
So their take on it, and again, wrong or right doesn't really matter. They're not. They seem sensible enough, but remember that gaming should occur only after your child completes his or her or them's other responsibilities for the day.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that, right?
No,
That's pretty clear. Like,
follows suit
you
for a lot
want
of
to do
stuff.
this, get your shit done. All right, 2 is you put clear limits on your child's gaming. They suggest that allotted should be 30 to 60 minutes per day on school days and 2 hours or less on non-school days. Now, I don't think that I think you could stick to that schedule, but I don't think that that's very much in the realm of reality in terms of today's gaming.
No, that timing. I mean, if that works for your child, sure. And here's what I'll say, just to, I guess, cover myself for probably the way I'm going to answer a couple of these things. And like you said, everybody's always different. I can only tell you based on my experience with my own children, with what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what most of this sounds like. It's very much here's what you could say this is what you should do all day long.
Yeah.
That don't mean jack shit for the whole populace.
Well, and listen, gaming, let's just call it now screen time, because gaming can be done on every fucking thing.
Right.
What is that even anymore? Every app, half the apps on your phone are probably a game, but you're not, so gaming now, so we'll just break it down to screen time.
Right.
That'd be, I would think that now that's impossible, especially once you get into grade school. For them to have 30 to 60 minutes on it,
they're on the screen at school.
All fucking day, right?
Yeah, well, not all. Actually,
Most of the day.
There's some teachers that don't use it all day. Actually, I'm very proud to say of Logan's 3rd grade teacher this year actually reinforces the fact of, yes, you have this, but still makes them research hard copy, books, library, stuff like that. So,
that's true. Well, and that that could come around to bring it to like reassessing. Okay, well, you obviously can't keep within this time frame, so maybe we'll give them an hour to 2 hours, or an hour, a full hour and a half, right? So you try to come in the middle, and it says designing your rules, consider a reasonable time frame, reassess. Once every 1 or 2 months later, reevaluate and see how things are working. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Now, determine a realistic consequence for breaking the rules is just punishment, right? Not punishment in the corporal sense, obviously, but if you do this, you're going to be in trouble,
Yeah.
So all these are very common. And the reason that I'm bringing, because that's great. These are all very sensible, wrong, right. They're not either, whatever you can fit it in. But that is just basic parenting when it comes to gaming. Is that you set these things. The problem isn't so much the time that they spent. It is, in my opinion, the attitude that comes from what they're spending it on, what they're getting from it. Content is It is a lot. When you have that much content down to the brain, it's not Saturday morning cartoons anymore. You know, you don't have an hour or two block and then you go do some shit. It is all the time.
Well, and
it does fuck with your brain to an extent.
Well, and it affects physically as well, because I mean that, and this is where I do agree with. Again, you got to judge it, but where the restriction, or why I say we put block time on there, is because it's like physically how it like can physically wear them out. I see it mainly with Logan, like the way his attitude will get, and it's just like, bro, you need to sit down, eat a snack, and breathe.
It's like a crackhead having their fix.
It does. Yeah. And there's been times where he's gotten like actual angry, and it's just like, hold on, take a step back. You need to relook at this. Yeah. You just had this block of time. Take a break. Then we'll go back and venture into this later. You know,
that's why I think it's less of the time that they're gaming. Obviously, if you're letting your kid game 8 hours a day, you're probably not parenting well. Just going to throw that out there. No judgment, but you're probably not.
You found your babysitter is what you did.
Yes, exactly. You know? And that's not going to work for that kid moving forward in life.
No, try to change it. Go ahead.
Try to change it. So, you can put blocks of time. I think what's more important is you can control the time that they're on. You can say, all right, shut this device off at this time. That'll shut it down quick. But what's better to do is allow themselves the choice up to a certain age. Now, obviously, 6, 7 years old, they're going to be a little more stubborn, right?
Oh, sure.
Right? Even now, like 11, like my kid. But a little more sensible now, where it could be like, listen, I'm giving you this. Accept it.
Right.
Right? And that could vary. Tomorrow, it could be an hour and a half. Today could have been 30 minutes. We're going to assess day by day, but whatever you're putting into your brain, we're going to minimize it as much as possible, and not just say you're going to be on screen for only 30 minutes and then do other stuff. I mean, that's great in concept, but these days that's too hard to ask.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's too much screens everywhere for you to try to control that. So the best thing that you can do is control what's going into their brain. And steer that, I think, in the right direction moving forward.
Right,
but I could be wrong too.
That's the whole thing is that anything we're even trying to mention at this point, none of us are 100% right or wrong. Each situation, and this is what I mean, each situation is going to be different.
Right, we're all going to be Wall-E evenally.
Exactly.
Sitting in chairs, just hooked up to a TV screen.
Basically. But I mean, and just to throw, just do a little bit of a meme out there well. Just as part of it, another a great page that I follow on Instagram is just called The Dad, where it's just funny parenting, but mainly more fatherly stuff. But they do post articles, and just one article where basically I'm not going to do a deep dive on the article. You guys can look up whatever, because again, these articles change weekly, if not daily, for what they say. But just on the parenting side, the little bit of devil's advocate there is that this article actually says about a new study that says that daily gaming can improve brain cognition.
Right.
Which I've seen multiple articles on as well.
I've definitely seen that in terms of dexterity, and that again,
dexterity
falls under what
hand-eye coordination.
And that falls under what they're playing. I don't think playing Call of Duty 24/7 is probably going to increase your intelligence or your cognitive ability. It might increase your ability for situational awareness. Maybe I have no idea, but I'm just throwing that out there.
There's a possibility for all that.
But and I agree with like that. But that. What's going in there? You know what I mean?
Right.
That is a big thing. Just because they're watching horror movies, they're not going to be a killer. But in terms of intellectual growth, other things going into their brains going to help them.
But even if it is a game, say even just similar to Call of Duty, but they have puzzles or codes you have to work on.
Exactly. Yes.
Do different things like that. Can very much
your
help.
Mind is a muscle, and that's a good way to work it out. That's why people do Sudoku, or used to. I think it's Wordle now.
Wordle is the new one. I still know of people that do Sudoku. It just depends on what you want to stick with, or if you want to try something new. And there's even a great one. Actually, it's from the same site. It's one of those Jim Halpert ones from The Office, where it's just him with his board, but it has two comparison things.
Right. You say the first one, I'll do the second one.
All right. The first one with Jim Halpert is your kid doesn't need to be good at sports.
Right. And he's just pointing to it like, I want you to follow this.
Yes, this is what I mean.
And the second one is, they just need to have fun without a screen for a few hours. Now, that's true. They do. They need to learn to be out in the world without a screen in their face, or else they really will be the generation that goes into the Wall-E area. You know, they'll be the step forward into the fat, everybody's 400 pounds sitting in a chair. They communicate
they can't even walk.
They communicate through screen.
Yeah, exactly. And we do enforce outside, like, and even fortunately, like, somehow, and this is where sometimes you gotta let the kids be the kids, where even my boys still will find their own balance a lot of the time. If you just sort of, you may have your certain, I don't want to say restrictions, but you just have your ways of doing things.
Right.
You got to do this, you got to do that, because that is life. This is the way it should be done, or at least this is the way I believe it should be done.
Yeah.
And they actually do pretty good. Like I say, they will play those board games on their own at times. Today, they totally went outside because they wanted to play in leaves. And the two brothers went outside to play in the yard.
Right.
Which is not and so they do those things on their own. It's finding that weird balance sometimes, man.
And it's a weird age. It's a weird, era to kind of raise. It's time to raise a kid in that way.
Sure.
Because, we grew into that. We saw that come about, and then we kind of like as adults grew into it. So kids don't really have that.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's
we
around
were able to ease
24/7.
into it, really. I mean, but no, and that's the funny part, is just like where, hey, I want to go over to so-and-so's house and play, or, do this. And a lot of times they still play video games because that's what they can do.
Yeah.
Can't always, you can go to the playground and do stuff. They keep them physically active, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not just going to sit here and tell you to just chill out and not do anything.
Right.
Because they still have to, even their brain still has to be active.
And I'll tell you, out there's one game that'll always be true, like a true workout for the mind, and is always a good time, and still very popular, is Tetris. As a matter of fact, that's going to get the Geekfather seal of approval.
Damn right. Tetris is
for
awesome.
Games perfect for adults and children.
Or even just the rip-off ones, too. But puzzle games.
Well, you can only rip it off. You can't really rip it off. You can put it under a different name, but fucking Tetris is Tetris.
It is. Tetris is Tetris from Russia or whatever, however that game got about. I don't know.
I mean, we had, like, for the longest time, we had Minesweeper. So,
That is true.
Minesweeper, Tetris, and Pong. Those were your ones where you.
And then those were
Pong was not a way to learn anything. That was just
just how you turn a knob.
Yeah.
Is essentially all you did for Pong.
Tell you what, for OCDC people, I bet you fucking amazing.
Oh fuck yeah, right.
Same thing happening repetitively over and over and over.
Very very
Sounds
true.
so good. We'll end the episode off with that. We can
just pong,
pong.
pong.
It's doing the same thing over. Look, it never changes. Just
pong.
No wait, no, it's gonna miss. No, it pumped back. There it is.
Pong.
Oh, our attention spans used to be so much more.
I know, right?
So, give your kids Tetris for Christmas.
Very much so, guys. But no matter what you do, we know that you guys are out there doing your best, and we're just here to tell you that we are doing our best as well. Whether it just gives you an idea, whether it's just support or just general laughter at the nuttiness that we talk about in life, guys. So, thank you very much. Again, happy holidays to everybody. Please, please do what you can. Be happy.
That's right.
If you do need help, especially because the holidays can be tough outside of losing loved ones.
And guess
pets,
what?
Whatever it may be.
We all need help at times. So maybe all the time. So welcome to the party, pal.
Exactly. Well, there you go. The Die Hard reference. But guys, if you feel like you do need help, whether... Again, we make ourselves available even if you just need a vent. If you feel like it goes as far as professional, do not be embarrassed. We'd rather keep you around and know that you're seeing someone like that than not have you around at all. So
absolutely.
But remember, there's a lot of great stuff. The holidays, even though they are stressful, the holidays can be great times, a time to rejuvenate. Be with the ones that we want to be, our loved ones. Hopefully you're not out there being stressed out by additional family that are just being family.
I'm sure they are.
But, I'm sure they are.
But you grow to miss that even when when everything kind of goes and everything fades in that way, and you miss it when it's gone. So just enjoy what the fuck you can while the fuck you're here. and have a happy holidays.
Absolutely. And of course, if you do find some downtime during your holiday break, of course, go right to GUIPodcast.com.
Yes.
Where you can check out not only all of our old Geek Father episodes, but all the other episodes as well. Catch up on the GUI flagship, because as of 2023, GUI flagship will be no more.
That's right. It'll always be in our hearts.
Our RIP flagship.
That's right.
For that one, it's the network. We are still here. Other shows like Beautiful Disasters, From the Mouths of Madness, all those great shows are still going to be around. Flagship itself it's just kind of run its course, as Hobbit would say. So, but there's other new shows on the horizon. Geekfathers, we have some new stuff. We had our delays this year, but we're still working on great new merch ideas and things happening with the show. This time we did run over, but it's our holiday show, so I'll allow it.
That goddamn right.
Damn right.
We got a lot to say.
We allow this. So, guys, thank you very much for listening. We are here if you need us. Be there for each other. One community, one tribe. Just don't forget, join us.
Or cry. That's life.
In a world of blockbuster movies, there's another dimension.
The dimension of schlock cinema. Join us at Beautiful Disasters on a journey into the fringe territory of B-movie abandon.
We review the flicks that are forgotten or underappreciated to give them a proper place in the annals of celluloid history.
I'm the Groots,
F.U. Hunter,
your guides at Beautiful Disasters. Come along with us for a fun ride. May the schlock be with you.
GUIPodcast.com